guys, happy Thursday. It's 3 p.m. Eastern time. Just wrapped up a little FOMC session. Listen to Mr. Powell chat. Pretty evasive commentary today. The statement I posted in the Telegram channel, uh, very matter of fact, very run of the mill. They cut 25 basis points as expected. If they're watching data, whether it's 3 months, 6 months, 12 month. They talked about housing services, non-housing services. They talked about CPI, PCE, PPI, blah blah blah. Basically, the market reacted with a muted reaction. We've got the last hour. We're up a little bit on the S&P. We just went to some fresh highs on the day. So let me show that right here. So here's the SPY, a little pop in the last 5 minutes to close out the FOMC. I mean, Powell may still be taking questions right now, but this might just be. I mean, mostly this is a bit of a non-event. We typically see FOMC be a lot more volatile than this. I am long on a $600 call that continues to fill up with this order flow liquidity level. That if we get to 600 plus, I think that's an achievable spot for tomorrow. Therefore, I do have that call. I've got a credit at $1.20. I paid 38 cents for it this morning. I think when I took it earlier in my live session, it was 38 cents. Traders could have taken it with me live. And also, I think it was down to like 34 cents or 35 cents earlier in the day. It's not up a ton right now. It's essentially break even. But if we get a nice little pop and squeeze to the upside tomorrow, we do tap 599 or 600. There's a chance that little 40-cent debit, or I guess 39-cent debit could be trading closer to $1. So as example, as we come late into the day, if we open up tomorrow around 599, let me just look at the options chain here. If we come into trading tomorrow on the 8th, let's say that we open up around 598. Well, an at the money could be trading for as much as like 80 to 90 cents. An at the money, even end of day, is trading for like $1.83. So if we get to $600, then hopefully there's a chance that we get up there, push to 599 or push to 600 and see this thing maybe trading for over $1. So we'll see. But it's going to be a 0 DT tomorrow. We haven't seen any price to move. And let's see if 599 to 600 is achievable. And if it is, fantastic. The one that I looked at today on the QQQ was 515. It's right here. We're trading at 513.82. We're within just a whisker of that one. Again, pretty inexpensive. I'm sure it'd be a little bit pricier to take the trade for tomorrow on the QQQ since we're almost there. But can the Qs for tomorrow, 515, it costs you $1.50. It's a 42 delta. We don't need price to go up $1.20. So if you took the trade $1.53, you need about a $1.20 move at a 42 delta. You're adding about 50 cents of profit there, maybe a little bit more depending on the gamma squeeze if it's more accelerated. But I think the SPY is a slightly better bang for your buck. It's certainly way cheaper, so that's why I opted to take the SPY versus the Qs. So let me get the chat up here. Say hi to everybody. Revs in the house. Give me a quick wire. Yes, everything's coming through loud and clear. Happy Thursday. Let me know you're out there. Not just talking solo, Han Solo style. What else we have? I put in a couple of extra trades today. Let me check my platform here. I did some fresh orders on new trades today on MicroStrategy, SkyWest, IBIT, NVIDIA. Those are all new trades today. So 1, 2, 3, 4 new trades. Total count for the day is 83 positions opened and closed. Pretty active day overall, not nearly as much as yesterday. I'm happy to announce I posted this in Telegram as well. My waterfall income strategy, we've taken 24 trades since we started. We are 24 of 24 with live trades. That's pretty darn exciting. We owe a lot to the movement this week because we did move to the upside, so that certainly helped our positions. Daily profit play still keeping a nice little streak alive. We're 33 for 36 over the last couple of trading sessions. So this has been maybe the last like 3-4 weeks amounting to a total like that. But overall, I think we're like 82 for 87 or 82 for 86, or it's something like ridiculous. Our winning on the daily profit play has been pretty stellar. So anyway, services are fun. One I trade every single day. The other one I trade once a week. So I give traders the opportunity to kind of pick their poison, see what works for them with their schedule. And I certainly like making money on both of them. So that is the plan. MicroStrategy, I tried to find a way to trade this. It's a little more expensive if I did a ratio spread, which I've got a bunch of these down here. So I thought, let's look at something in the money. I did a bull call spread on MicroStrategy. This trade only cost me $3.30, and there's a potential $15 profit. So if I just think about the math, if I make $15, which is going to have to be at expiration, so that's unlikely, but if I make $15 max, okay, and my max risk is the cost of my trade, which is $3.30, that's $11.70 potential net profit. So I'll put NP for net profit. Now, if I can take a $330 risk and turn it into, let's say, $660, right? So I make 100% return on risk. I'm pretty happy with that trade. Now, that trade could be achieved much faster if price just goes my way. I could achieve that profit potential probably within let's say we get to 350, 360 in the next like 3 to 4 months on MicroStrategy. If that is the case, I could see this trade paying me $300, $400, $500 within the next maybe 3 or 4 months if we make a run up towards like 350, 360. It's very similar to what I did on the Russell. I took a trade on the Russell. This would have been a couple months ago, and I was looking for that big kind of the divergence we saw between the NASDAQ and the Russell. Back in here, I started to buy the Russell, okay, and I went out of the money, and I did a 240 by 270 and a 245 by 270. Actually, I take that back. It was a 240 by 275 and a 245 by 275. So it's a bull call spread. It's way in the money, which allowed this debit to be very cheap. This total debit for 2 trades cost me $7.60, and I closed out, and we're not even at my strike price. I closed out for $13 and change. So I made nearly 100% return on capital, return on risk, and I'm not even at my strike price. So because of the move and because of the time premium that I had left in the trade, that's what I'm trying to do in MicroStrategy. If it's going to continue to rally, I'm hoping that I can turn a 330 debit into a $6, $7, $8, $9 credit. And I know my max credit's $15, but I'm not really planning on waiting for that entire trade. Just had a trade fill on QQQ for another winner on waterfall income. Yay. Cool. Qualcomm, good. I was out of that trade pretty quickly. Qualcomm, let's see here. We already took profit on that trade, right? I thought we did. Qualcomm. Oh, fudge. You know what? Did I not take profit on that, son of a beaver? Hang on a second. Qualcomm was up to 181. Wes, what'd you do on that trade? Mirrored your trade last week, took profits you took profits this morning? Well, you did a better job than I did, dude. Bought the 170 by 175, up at the highs this morning at 180 and change. Yeah, I definitely missed that opportunity to close out. So now I'm pretty much back to break even. Let me see what this is trading for. I should have been right there with you. Now, granted, the reason this one wasn't on my radar this morning is because the expiration is out to December 20th. So if Qualcomm is going to, come back and find some support and then come back and, bounce around here, I mean, there's still a chance we get back up above the 175, which is really all I need it to do. So I have some time in the trade. There's no risk assignment here because it's a bull call spread. But let me check on, let me just go one account here for Qualcomm. So 170 by 175 is trading for 242, and I paid 218. So if I want to just get rid of it, I can get rid of it now. If I want to give it another, month and a half, I can just see if Qualcomm will head higher a little bit for some type of rally. So we'll see what it does. We'll see what it does. All right. Held it through earnings. Yep. Took profits $3 when at 216. Great. Good. Yeah, that's a good trade. So I'll sit on a little bit longer. Okay, so earnings back in. Oh yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday after market. So we gapped up. We quickly faded that, unfortunately. So anyway, there's potential dividend here out in December that might bring the price a little bit lower. But let's see. Earnings were positive on both. Let's see if that actually gets kind of bid back up above 175. I'm going to set a chart alarm here, back up to 175, and see if we can cross that level. Okay, so Qs are melting up a little bit higher. SPY is trying to get up to some fresh highs, just a little bit higher. Still nothing past that 255 candle. So anyway, we'll see what the SPY does for the day. There we go. We just poked above those highs. So fresh highs in the day for the SPY. Final 50 minutes of trading. It might be a bunch of noise. It might keep melting up. Financial juice, I don't know if it has anything crazy on the Fed. Here we have geopolitics are elevated. U.S. fiscal path is unsustainable. Well, there you go. That's interesting. Okay. Now, what's funny is he said, we don't comment on fiscal policy. And yet I'm reading a headline here that says, I've said many times, U.S. fiscal path is sustainable. It is not permitted under law to demote a Fed chair. We believe we can complete inflation task and keep labor market strong. Dollar fell, Fed cut rates, Bank of England yield strengthen, S&P whipsawed. It's 2 p.m. I don't know about that. Let me see what the yields are doing today. So 2-year yield. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to take this trade off on Qualcomm. Let me take this trade off for 240. So I paid, let me just double check my debits here. So Qualcomm, I paid, looks like 216. I'm going to get out of this trade for 240 and just take the small profit. One less trade to worry about. 245. Maybe I can sneak in a couple more on that. 245 not filling. I'll try to go mid at 242. Okay, 240. Filled at 240. I'm going to close it out for a small winner as well. One less trade to worry about. Qualcomm, close, 240. Okay, close out at 241. Closing out here, 241. That got filled. $240. Getting filled there. Okay, just trying to close these out at 240. $241. And one more account should take care of it. 240. Perfect. Okay, so let me do a quick update in my alerts. That should be under stock and options. I got to find the QCOM. It's been busy. Did I post that trade for MicroStrategy? I think I just did. Yep, MicroStrategy posted. Got to find Qualcomm, Intel, Apple, Amazon, AFL, TEAM. Those are profits. RCL, waiting. That's till next week. Caterpillar, that one pushed higher. That one did get filled, actually. I'm going to do a reply on this one. Cat was filled with the post-election gap. Holding for now. Remains a small risk debit spread. Oops, go everyone there. Edit message. Okay. Looking for that Qualcomm. Snap was good. Those are profits. Visa was fine. AMD still in. Cat, Amazon, Tesla, Microsoft, Qualcomm. There it is. Okay. So edit message. Nope. I want to just do a reply to that one. Okay. So I'm closing for 2.40 credit. So 218 debit, 2.40 credit. That is a 30 or 22 cent net profit per contract. Protecting profits. Okay. All right, that one's in. Fresh highs in the day for SPY. Take a look at the SPY right here. My $600 call is now trading about 10 to 11 cents higher late in the day. Can we get this crazy 45-minute squeeze? I mean, 600 is likely not going to get hit, but if we go up another 50 cents to $1, you never know. If we gap higher tomorrow, maybe we'll get it to turn into a couple of bucks. So I'll do a couple things on that SPY trade. If anybody's in this $600 long call with me, if we see pre-market activity tomorrow is trading up around $5.99 or $600, I will likely cancel my pending credit at $1.20 and just see what the opening cost is. I want to make sure that I get, the broker should fill me at the first available spot. But if I put in $1.20, I certainly don't want to get filled at $1.20 if it's trading for $2 and change. So if we're trading near $5.99 or $600 tomorrow at the gap open, if we have a gap open, then I'm going to remove my $1.20 pending credit that I show right here. I'll remove that, cancel that, and then wait and see what tomorrow's opening bell gives me. Okay. All right. So we're getting a nice little squeeze here. I'll keep an eye on this one. I did say earlier today, if I can turn this into like 50 bucks profit, I'll probably just take the profit. If that happens today, I'll protect this before we're done with today's session. All right. Trying to think. What else? All symbols. So Qualcomm, that's an exit for profit. MicroStrategy is a new trade. SkyWest, new trade. Alcoa, I put in a covered call. I rolled a call on Amazon. IBIT, I bought some additional shares. NVIDIA, I did a ratio spread. I don't mind owning NVIDIA at a cheaper price. I'm looking for a discount there. So you just called me on my mobile. Oh, I see. It's probably marketing. Yeah. Definitely not me. Yeah, maybe marketing. That's interesting. So I posted that earlier today. Everything's looking clean on Telegram. Discord, we had some comments in today. Looks like we had some traders active in the daily profit play. Not surprising. Obviously, it's a little bit more directional the last 20 minutes, so you just got to be careful about those late day squeezes and that directional push because the option prices are very sensitive. Let me actually take a look at the SPX right now, or even the NDX. Maybe looking at something way out of the money. See if I can grab some quick bucks here the last 40 minutes or so. Let me check on the NDX right here. So if I go to my chart, go to the NDX. If I call this center, I'm trying to avoid a price move one way or the other. I don't know how far up or down I have to go, but let's take a look at the expected move. It's also very illiquid at this time, so I might not get a trade that I really want. Let me put the call side above. So if I do like a 21, that's 100 points higher, but the spread is 25 wide. That's a little high. 6 delta and then a 5 delta. I mean, I could grab $1.20. That's a lot of premium, but I also may not get filled on this trade. Are we capable of going up 100 points? So here to 2 and change, here down to 21,025, 21,025. It's not that far away. Okay, well, the good and the bad is if I take this trade, I grab $1.50 in credit. That's awesome, but I'm risking 2,300 bucks if I'm wrong. So in some way, the risk on this trade is ridiculous. I mean, if we had some late day squeeze or fall, that is a crazy amount of risk for 40 minutes of trading. So I'm going to say no thanks, no thanks. Nice hypothetical though. I'll keep it on the platform and see like, oh, I could have, but that's just a crazy amount of risk. So no thanks. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing it just go up higher. If it melts up higher, that's fine. I'm not going to try to put on a high and a low and see if I get it right. When if this thing's in free range to move, like just freaking go. It's actually been a pretty straightforward day. Look at this compared to yesterday, right? Yesterday and today were very interesting days. So we had this massive gap yesterday, little chop in the morning, and then we broke and we just melted up higher. Today, broke and then melted up higher. You know, this green and red line is my opening range breakout from 9:30 to 10:30. So just very simple price action, just looking at what the price does. Usually order flows come in late in the day. There's noon, that's 12:45. Today was a little bit closer, around 11 a.m., but prices were still pretty consistent. Going up, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. But as of right now, currency strength was all risk on. We are only 8. Go to the House. So Republicans need 8 seats to sweep the House. Not sure. So this is 405 out of 435. So there's still 30 races remaining to see who clinches the House. Republicans obviously have the lead right now. They're only 8 seats away, but with the remaining races, not sure, you know, where it's going to be going or what the final result is. But Republicans have the president, Republicans have the Senate, and we'll see if it's a full-on Republican sweep. But I'm not sure when this is going to be decided. Hopefully by the end of the week. Hopefully by, you know, tonight, tomorrow, these are all done, and we decide who gets the clinching 218. So we'll see. All right. Any charts, any questions, anything you want to take a look at? Gold has had a really nice comeback day. I'm still long. We pulled back to the 50-period moving average. That's still pretty shallow, all things considered. But I did put on some credit spreads on GLD. Silver, I did put on a credit spread right here at that horizontal line at 28. I can move this down slightly. So I put it at 28 on the nose. So right down here. There's my credit spread. So SLV and GLD, long on both. How many contracts did I do on SLV? That's what I want to find out. SLV, I did 9 contracts. Yep. So hopefully an income play there. That was around 45 cents. That's an income play of $450, or an assignment of another maybe 100 or 200 shares if I like it. If we have a big fall in silver, I'll just buy some more. But otherwise, it's an income play, and I'll keep a close eye on that. Bitcoin at 76 and change. We have a new daily high. We have a new all-time high. I did buy some more shares of IBIT for that reason. And I've got a measured move, whether this is perfect or not. If Bitcoin hits around $100,000, then I'm looking at IBIT to reflect that to a stock price of around $57.44. So I would just say if you're above 55 bucks on IBIT, that is Bitcoin hitting the 100K mark. So I do like the way that this instrument has correlated very nicely. The next best thing on IBIT would be to actually trade options, which right now you can't. But I am, I don't know, I'm encouraged by the SEC approval. I know that the OCC, which is the clearinghouse, and it's like the options capital clearinghouse or something like that, and then the CFTC would have to approve that in order to make it official. But this is one instrument that I'm very interested in trading options on, and hopefully having it maintain the integrity of looking like that spot price on Bitcoin. Ethereum had a heck of a day today. We're at 28.95, finally back above this nice breakout point. And my trade on EETH, let me see what this guy's doing. I got a trade on this one. I actually might not mind taking some profit on this one. Currently up around $375. I collected, so 962 minus 412. Looks like I collected 550 on the trade, and my max profit would be about $5.50. I'm up 375 right now. If I can get filled on this trade, 375 divided by 5.5, I'm up around 68% of the position right now. So let me see what this will allow me to close it for. I'm going to see if I can get out of this for $1.75. Nope. Okay, I'll go just over the mid price, $1.80. Oops. So $1.80. Okay. $1.85. So hopefully no less or no more than $2. Oops, no more than $2. I'll go up just 5-cent increments here. Go to $1.90. Nope. $1.95. Nope. All right, final offer is $2. Otherwise, they'll just sit on a little bit longer. This is a January 17th expiration, so it's not overly time sensitive. All right, never mind. That trade's going to get canceled. Canceled. All right, so I'm just going to sit on a little bit longer. We'll see what it does. But it's a 60 by 50, I believe. So, oh, not even that. Wait a minute. Never mind. What am I doing? I had a 50 by 40. Ah, okay, there we go. So here's my 60 by 40. Ah, this is the one I wanted to trade. Okay, so this one's back to break even. We're trading at 58. This one's okay. And then I've got the 45 by 35. These are looking good. So this one, the 45 by 35, that is up around 800 bucks. Let me see if this one shows up. All right, I'm going to check some trade history. I've got a 45 by 35 bull put spread. So EETH. There we go. And let me go timeline here, year to date. There it is. So my 45 by 35, I collected. So I sold 730, 735, 290, 295. So we can split the difference. I brought in 732 minus 2.92. So I brought in $4.40 on a $10 spread, but I did 2 contracts. That one should be looking good for profit. So let's see what it's trading for. So if I do the 45 by 35, look to close this one out. Right now it's trading for 50 cents. Let me see if I can get out of this thing for 50 cents. Again, trying to make as much money on the trade as I can, knowing that there's still time left in the trade. But based on my strike prices here, current price is at 58, and I'm down here at 45, which is all the way near the bottom end of the expected move. Let's see. I'll try to get 50 cents and close it out and protect. Not filling. This might be the problem, is it just might not be liquid enough for me to close out where I want. 55, 60. Come on, where's my liquidity price? Right. 65, 70 cents. I don't have to do anything on the trade again. I mean, it's in the money enough that, or I should say, it's out of the money enough that it could just expire worthless by January. That's just if we have Ethereum going higher, Bitcoin going higher, then I could just take the full profit. That would be $880 on the position. And unfortunately, I'm just not able to get the price that I want. So I think I'm just going to cancel it and take my chances on full expiration. So, all right, well, I tried. Interesting price action here for next Friday. I put in a bull call spread on DJT, and this stock has actually been dropping, which is probably counterintuitive for most, considering it was moving with the ebbs and flows of Trump in the polls and Trump with the election. And there could have been some massive profit taking when he was going into the election at a higher stock price, as well as the betting polls, not the polls themselves, like the betting markets, like Kalshi and Polymarket, showing he was likely a 60+% winner, but the market has faded pretty hard. Now, granted, I only got in for 39 cents debit for a 61-cent profit. That's out to next Friday. So if this is going to either come back and gap fill, then maybe I get this thing back into profit. If we come back and rip a little bit higher, if this comes all the way back down, I'll probably just say that was my one and done on DJT and won't really do anything else. So it is kind of a counterintuitive move, but we'll see if it comes back. All right. Any other charts, any currencies, anything else you want to take a look at today? I looked at pricing in a trade on oil. I didn't really like it. I'm long gold again, long silver. Mag 7 stocks are up. Apple's up 2+%. Amazon up to some fresh all-time highs. They did a roll today. Rolled it out in time. Grabbed another like $2 or $3 credit for that. Google up. Ooh, Google's looking good. Okay. 160 by 165. Let's see what this bad boy's trading for. Did I close that one already? Let me see. Google. There we go. So I've got the 160 by 165 bull call spread and bull put spread and a leap as well. So currently up around $502 of open positions. On that bull put spread, I paid $2. Let me see what this one's trading for. I think I paid like 2 something for it. So 1090 and 856. So 1090 minus 856. I collected 234 credit on the bull put spread and 1187 minus 915, paid 272 on the bull call spread. So let's check with the bull call spread first. So my max profit is $5. It's already worth $4.40. So if I walk away $4.40 out of 5, I'm up 88% of the profit right now. That's kind of good. Otherwise, I've got to wait 71 days for this one to be in profit. Now, we can stay where we are, but I mean, I'm actually okay trying to just take the majority of profit right now. Let's see here. Let me see if I can get 445. Take a look at this one. So Google here. So the bull call spread close for 445. Survey says. Nope. Mid price at 443. Nope. 440. I think I can get filled at 440, but 442, 441. Interesting. Well, I'm going to cancel that. I'm just going to give it a little bit more time. It's obviously looking better. If we get up to all-time highs, once again, like this trade will just get better and better. So eventually I'll try to close it as close to $5 as possible, but likely I'll be managing that trade early. TOST earnings today, been rising steady the last 11.5 hours. I'm holding a call overnight. We'll see. TOST. Toast. What is this? Package software. Okay. Consumer payment application for restaurants. Okay. Terminals, kiosk, guest facing. Good. That's cool. Let me check the little fundamentals. TOST. Earnings are forecast to grow. It's grown 6.4 over the last 5 years. Price to earnings, price to sales actually very inexpensive. But discounted cash flow shows current price 32, fair value 22.50. Peer average 5.3, Toast is 4.1 price to sales. Well, I hope the call option pushes higher. I mean, I look at a stock like this that I haven't been trading, and I see this really attractive, post-COVID 2022 bear market double bottom area. That's $15. It's like what a steal that would have been, and then it's just protecting profit. But otherwise, I'll wait and see. But I just when I see fair value at 22, I'm likely not going to do too much with it. Apple at this price, that's a good question. Let's take a look at Apple at this price. Apple's in the 220s now, right? 227. So Apple at this price. Well, I think that Apple is always kind of a great stock to have. Earnings was a miss on EPS, but Apple's still resilient. It's been way more volatile this year than it has been in other years. There's clearly a lot of volatility around Apple when it comes to China. Okay. So that's one thing that was a big reason that they fell so much this year was, demand in China was slowing down. They were looking to start transitioning from China to India. And I mean, Apple was like a terrible stock, or so it felt like it. And then all of a sudden it's like, hey man, we're Apple. We're getting to the AI race. We're going to do some great stuff. And Apple just went bananas. So, obviously I look at the price right here. Here's what I would say. If I bought Apple right now, okay, I would want to plan on targeting all-time highs and get to higher highs. It's pretty simple. Now, if I could take Apple here and lower my cost basis, let me see how much an Apple call would be. It's not super volatile, so I don't know how good the premiums are going to be. But an Apple, let me see. If I buy the shares and do a deep in the money call, let me price something out really quickly. So right now, if I bought it, did an in the money call, let me go out to next Friday. So if I buy the shares at 227, go at the money and sell it, I could generate $262 of income on 100 shares. Now, if I bought something deeper in the money, 220 gets me up to 228, which gives me a little extra value. Not a ton. If I buy the shares at 227.50 and I take away, let's say 595, I get it called away. What are you doing, bro? Okay, so 221.55, get it called away at two. That's less than $1 of income. If I did the 227.50 buy, take away 805, 219, get it called away at 220, I make 55 cents. It's like that's a lot of capital to try to make 50 bucks on, so I don't love that. There's certainly other trades that would offer a lot more. I mean, even in at the money, maybe it's better to go deeper and farther out. So like going out 30 days. What kind of premium to get on this one? We're at 227. This is a little bit better. So an income play here going out to December 13th. If I buy the shares at 227.43 and I do a 215, so 14.65, 212, I make $2.22 as long as price stays above 215 in the next 36 days. That's not awesome, but if I've got, 10 grand in margin to set aside or 20 grand in cash to set aside, pretty low volatility play. I'm obviously sacrificing upside potential, but I also lower my cost basis all the way down to, 212. So if Apple did drop and it drops below 215, you actually own the shares at 212.78. So as far as making a few $100 in 36 days, like that's very doable. Yeah, I don't mind it. I mean, like I said, I think I'm sacrificing the upside here, right? Because if I buy the shares and I sell a deep in the money call, I'm capping my upside, but the income probability is pretty positive. So making let's say $220 with a high probability, is that better than trying to grab I guess to the upside if we hit all-time highs on Apple? Let's see what that would be. Apple at 237. You got $10 of upside if we hit all-time highs, which if I bought 100 shares, I'd make $1,000. Obviously, if I bought the shares and it still went up in price, so I buy the shares now and I sell the 230. Well, here's one way to look at it too. If I get 227.41 minus a 455 covered call, I get it called away at 230. I make $700 on Apple. That's not bad. It's not bad at all, actually. I think on my margin accounts, like I'm okay doing that. I'm totally okay with doing that. Now, what would my income be if I did a 227.47 minus 7.25, get it called away at 225? I'd make 478 a share, which isn't bad. I'd obviously like to make a little bit more. So I think I'm going to do this on a couple of my higher margin accounts, and I'm going to try to go for the income trade. So I'm going to buy some shares of Apple at 227.55. The goal is to see if we get up to the highs again at 237. All I need price to do is get above 230, and I can let it get called away. Okay, so it's going to be an income play. I suppose to be fair, I could also buy a dirt cheap protection play. Like if we have, a 25-cent put, I could buy that just to protect myself. That's a 3 delta. I mean, it costs nothing. I'd sacrifice about $50, or I guess $27 if I'm wrong. Um, Odds of getting there are slim, but if we have like a crash of some sort, I mean, it'd just be there for protection to lower my cost basis. So, see here. Phil says, sadly, I sold out of Apple, got out yesterday. Would you consider a leap calendar trade? Um, yes. Yes and no. I mean, I look at it like I can do a 36-day income trade. A calendar trade would be you're going to pay a lot for that long call, right? Phil dropping some practical options, course content knowledge on everybody. But if you buy a long call, you're going out a year plus. You're spending a lot of money on that call, and so your goal is to routinely, probably every 30 to 60 days, sell against that, sell against it, sell against it. So the problem is, let's just look at the numbers. If I looked at a 12-month call, so let me get rid of this for a second. I think I'm going to buy some shares and play the income side. If I went out over a year, so I've got a 316 expiration or 407. So days wide, I would go probably out to December of 2025. And if I bought an in the money call at like 200, it's going to cost me $45. That's $4,500. Now, up front, that's a lot of money to put up to trade, right? Because here's what you have to do. And Phil, you and I talked about this in our private workshop. If I bought the $200 call, that's going to cost me 45.20. My break even is 245. Now, what I try to do to get the stock called away is if I bought this right here at 45.20, and then I put against that, okay, so I go out to December 2025, buy the $200 call, it's a 70 delta, and then against that, let's go out to either the end of December, this December 20th, or go out to the first part of January, and I'd have to sell the 245, right? Because that's my break even. So if my break even is 245.20 and I take away 229, okay, I get 242.91. I get it called away at 245 by January. I'd make $200 on something that's going to cost me about $4,000 to put up. Now that is a lot cheaper than what I'm about to do to make $600 or $700. I'm putting over about 10 grand on the trade. So like reward to risk wise or capital wise, it's okay. But the difference if I own the shares, and insert a put and put on a covered call, the time is really not in the equation. If I've got the buying power to do it, I'm going to do it. So yeah, the long-term stuff is fine. And usually options, the whole point of options is you've got leverage. You have the ability to put way less capital up on the trade and generate similar returns, if not better returns, as far as return on risk, return on capital. Okay, so I see here we're already up like 15, 20 cents from where I started talking about Apple. So what I'd like to do is go out to December 13th and sell the 225 or the 230 and do the numbers on this really quickly. So if I go buy the shares 227.62 minus the 465, okay, and if it gets called away at 230, oops, shoot, 227.62 minus 465, get it called away at 230, I make 703. If I buy a put to protect myself, I waste $50 in the trade, but I still make, $650 to $670 as long as price stays above 222, 223. So not bad. Yeah, if you did it out for a year, if you did the calendar, the leap calendar, like you're talking about, going out a year, that's about how I'd price it. But then you go out like 30 days or 45 days or 60 days. I think that January calendar trade was like a 71 day that you'd sell. You can go out a little bit further, but remember the whole point is to sell and sell and sell and sell and work your cost basis down. So personally, I don't love that trade. I'd rather own the shares outright and then work around the covered calls, but that takes more capital to do it. So on my accounts that have a little bit more capital, I'm going to do one trade here, two trades here, 3 and 4. This one's an IRA, so I may not do that one. These are all margin accounts and portfolio margins, so I'll probably do those. Okay, so I'm going to take on 3 accounts. I'm going to add these in. So I'm going to buy some shares right now. So 227.75. Let's buy 100 shares. Okay. Okay, got filled there. 9111. Check and see something here on 9111. Already have some shares of this one. I'd be adding more to it. All right, I'm gonna skip that one and then go 9151. Apple. Okay, I'm gonna buy it on this one too. So trade. Filled at 227.73. Now in each one of those accounts, I'm going to add in the 230 call for 475. Let's see if I get 475 and take the mid price. Okay, one contract filled at 475. And for this account, Apple put into trade December 13th, 470, 475. Filled. Okay. So on that account, I have own shares plus the covered call. And on this account, I have own shares plus the covered call. All right. So I just added some shares right there. I'm going to do the crunches on that. So AAPL, buy 100 shares at 227.73. Added 12/13 expiration, 230 covered call for 4.75 credit. Gives me a break even. 227.73 minus 4.75, 222.98. And if it gets called away at 230, get it called away for 702. Now, to be safe on this, in case there's some silly little drop over the same duration for that covered call, I'm going to buy a put that is also inexpensive. I'm going to sacrifice about 36 bucks of that trade and buy a put in case we have something, dramatic to the downside over the same period. Now, I could go out a little bit further. Let's say December, and I could buy the 200 or the 195 for $45. Gives me a little bit more time on the protection side. So let me do that for an extra couple of weeks. Actually, it's one more week. Let's see. I guess, is it really that different? For 35 cents, I mean, this is a 5 delta. We'd have to have price drop we'd have to drop like $10 or $15 aggressively. And then this changes into like maybe a 20 or 30 delta, which does, increase this, at least lets me lower the cost base if I take profit on it. So it's there for some protection. I think I'm going to at least spend the $36 on it. So I'll buy the $200. Let me see if I can get out of here for 35 cents. $200 put. Okay, just got filled for 35 cents. I'll do the same thing on this other account that I bought the shares on. Right there. 35. So 36. Looks like it's going to cost me just a smidge more. Come on, you idiots. 37 cents. All right, so I'm adding that in. Added a 12/13 expiration $200 long put for 37 cents debit. Net break even is 222.98 plus the 37 cents debit, so 223.35, which would give me, if I get it called away at 230, 665 a profit. So 6.65 profit if called away. All right. So I just added that trade in. So Apple, I bought some shares there. Buy at 227.73. We're already down 70 cents, so that feels great. 12.13 expiration 230 covered call, and then the 12.13 expiration 200 long put. So 223.35 break even. Okay, and I'll keep an eye on that one. So I had the shares. It's not as time sensitive outside of getting the stock called away or protecting some the put to the downside. So if price drops aggressively, then I'll use that $200 put to close out for, this was a 37-cent debit. Okay, this one was 4.75 credit. So I can do the math that way, right? So that way I know if I turn a 37-cent debit into, 80, 90 cents or a dollar even, it's like, okay, well, on the contract itself, I go from 223.35. If I make a dollar on this debit, well, I lower my cost basis down to 222.35. So that's the nice thing about having that protection is I can actually gain and lower my cost basis a little bit based on that debit. Okay. So what I'm trying to, stay out of here is I don't want, obviously if price falls, it's okay. Like I've got protection. It depends on how nasty and how violent it gets. But we're past earnings. We've got a dividend that actually happens tomorrow. So I'm almost guaranteed the stock price is going to drop. Well, that is annoying. So I'm glad I put the put in because if it drops, it's only a 25-cent dividend, but I would think that at least can drop price by 25 cents, maybe a little bit more. We'll find out. Anyway, I've got the math in. It's good. IBIT bought some shares. NVIDIA was a ratio spread. Okay, and then I did the in the money MSTR bull call spread. All right, I just need to update my spreadsheet. So let me add this into my Pulver alert section. This is stock, and I've got AAPL, buy 100 shares at 227.73. This is a buy plus collar. Sell the 12.13 expiration 430 or 230 call for 4.75. Buy the 12.13 expiration 200 put for 37 cents debit. Net break even is 223.35. I have protection to the downside in case of a drop. I have a covered call higher to see if Apple is able to revisit all-time highs and get called away. All right. And that trade is in. Take a screenshot of this. Okay, little income play there. Papa John, you got 5 minutes, man. Hopefully it's looking good. It's been pretty neutral since the last, hour. We really haven't gone anywhere price-wise. We went up a little bit, obviously came back down, but we're pretty much flat from like the 12:45 p.m. price point. Yeah, you got 5 minutes left. You're probably just going to get it settled at expiration. So, all right, we'll see what happens. I'm going to set a chart alarm here at 2:30. See if we get above 2:30. And if we break the lows, I'll set a chart alarm down to like 2:15 just to get my attention and then pay attention to that trade. And off we go. And you know, if Apple, so here's the deal, like the shares that I own right here, I will repair those trades and I will still make income on this one. It's just a matter of, can I get $600 or $700, repair it more, lower my cost base more. But also, if Apple were to come down into this area or even this previous level here, far more interested in maybe putting on some credit spreads and some debit spreads to go back and see if we have a range trade. So if I can get this thing low enough at a decent discount, then I'll probably scoop up some more Apple. Okay. All right. So we got just a few minutes left. Okay. All right. So that's gonna do it. Amazon, still liking this one. Ratio spreads didn't quite look as good. With this thing blowing through the top, I am just sitting on shares. I rolled a call at 210 out another couple of weeks and grabbed some profit on that. What else? Google. This one looks good. I've got the bull call spreads in. I'll let those go towards full profit. Meta didn't really offer much of a dip here, so I'm staying out of this one. I'd like to see Meta, if and maybe it's choppy here, maybe it just goes sideways for a little bit. You know, if it does go sideways, that could be a good opportunity for uh, an iron condor of some sort. But I'm just thinking, if we have momentum here, I just don't want to get in the way of anything. But I don't like Meta as much. Microsoft looks a little bit better. I've got some exposure on this one already. I've got the 430 by 435. I wanted this to come down a little bit lower towards 400, and I would have doubled up on that trade. But I'm just going to ride this one out towards expiration. Netflix up to some fresh highs, hasn't even pulled back yet. I'll wait. I mean, I've got this 111 trade in for some income. That's about it. But I'll wait. Nvidia, I did this trade to. Oh, it's a ratio spread. Yeah, I did a ratio spread, 257 credit. So if I make the income, I make the income. If it gets assigned, I'll take the assignment. If it goes to the moon, I still get my 257 credit. Tesla, I've been pretty aggressive on Tesla. I added in a new ratio spread on Tesla. I think I put that in today. Yep. I did a 230 by 225 ratio spread, collected 393, willing to own the shares. I'd own it at 216, which is all the way down here towards this cluster. I mean, Tesla would have to drop 27% within the next 2 or 3 months. It's a 117 expiration. So within about 70 days, we'd have to drop about 27 to 30% for that to be a threat. Otherwise, that looks good for some income. Okay, and we got 1 minute for the bell. For whom the bell tolls. Final seconds. What are we at? It's got to be close. I got about 30 seconds left. So far looking pretty good. And that should wrap us up for today. There it is. Closing bell, cash settled. Papa John, you in profit? Mark, how'd you do today? Final 10 minutes. There you go. Finishing line of sight. Mark closing out for a nice little win. Winner, winner, steak dinner. There you go. Who needs that chicken dinner stuff? 9 winners today, no losses. Wow. Mark, you're freaking killing on the daily profit play, dude. That's awesome. Nice work. Nice work. Okay, cool, everybody. I'll wrap it up there. Thanks for being with me today for the final hour. We'll be back at it tomorrow. Just a couple highlights for me for the week thus far. Still keeping the streak alive on daily profit play. I think for the week we're like 3 for 4. I haven't been super active on it, but I've taken a ton of trades. Also closed out for some nice profit. Let me check on daily tracker. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 4 for 5 for the week on daily profit play. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I mean, I'm looking to see if the SPY will go higher. If it does, we get to 599, 600. I'll close out that SPY long call. Waterfall income has been an absolute gangbuster this week. I was 6 for 6. Now I'm 18 for 18 just on this week's trades. The holding period is exactly what I talked about during the webinar and all the classes we've done. 12.08 days is my average hold for these live trades. I said in back testing for the last 11 years, the average hold time is 11 days. That's pretty freaking good. So this strategy is exactly what I want it to be. I actually thought we've been way more active and aggressive than I initially planned on the strategy being. But I think because I've taught it essentially from two sides, we can, trade a couple of different strategies with it. And look, I'm not upset by it. I mean, honestly, having, 24 trades and 24 winners, that's been a nice little boost. Average winner is about $100. So, I mean, do the math on that. 24 times $100 on average. That's a nice little income play this week. Just on one of my smaller accounts this week, I mean, I'm up like $6,000 on this account within the last maybe couple of weeks. So Waterfall had a lot to do with that, and that's pretty exciting. So cool stuff. All right, I will let you go for today. We'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for being with me. If you are watching on YouTube, whether you're watching live or recording, hit that thumbs up button for me. I do appreciate that. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, feel free to do so. If you would like to join my Discord channel, my Telegram channel, you can leave a comment for me. I can post those links in the chat, or just come back and see me on the final hour tomorrow. Okay, thanks, everybody. Have a good rest of the day. See you soon. Bye.